body knows what to do with it, just like it does with most stem cells in circulation. It works in harmony with the body. It supports sleep, it supports recovery. Many of the pathways we know about scientifically. There are lots that we don't know about, but we know that they're beneficial because this is supporting the body's innate, as you said, repair systems. These are huge grounding machines. So it counters something called rouleau effect in medicine, which is sticky blood, viscous blood. As we get older, especially with westernized lifestyle, we get red and white blood cells. They look like coins all stacked together. PEMF, or grounding out in nature, almost immediately helps separate the red and white blood cells. I think it's the perfect combination, really. We hydrate and then we modulate or activate that hydration. And in the E+, so what we add to it are this E+, and this is 72 trace minerals. This is not just sodium, magnesium, potassium. We're also supporting the mitochondria ability to generate ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So good things happen. So we take tap water, we purify it, we add molecular hydrogen, we add electrolytes, we structure, and then the client drinks the water. So fairly early on, clients were saying, hey, I want this at home. This is great. I want this for my family. I want this for my dog. I want this for my horse. So we started, this is where Optimal Hydration came as a separate but sister brand.
Welcome to Simply Walk the Talk. Our bodies and minds adapt to what we do most of the time. If you want to change your body and mind, you must change what it is you do most of the time. This podcast explores all things health, wellness, fitness, lifestyle, and biohacking. Stay tuned as we explore various thoughts, methods, and experiences from a multitude of conversations between our interesting guests and experts through many fields of work. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Simply walk the talk. Simply walk the talk.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We've got Mr. Pete again, Pete from PEMF Fit. If you did not get a chance to see Pete's amazing story, the podcast we did together, I'll link to it, but go and check that out. That's where you'll find out a lot about Pete's background. But today, I wanted to make sure that we cover some things that we didn't get a chance to talk about as much last time, one of which is the Optimal Hydration OH1 molecular hydrogen water countertop device. That's a mouthful. But I alluded to that. I showed a little bit of that, or I teased a little bit of that in one of my Instagram reels. And it's something I've been using for quite some time because I got it from Pete and he told me all about it. I got a chance to experience it ahead of the amazing PEMF session I had when I visited his place in London. And then now I have a device. Uncle Mike, who's a good friend of ours too, he now has a device and we've been using it, but I haven't really shown much about it. So unless you've come to my place to see it, you probably don't know what it's about. So a lot of people have been like, hey, what is that device? Talk about it. So we are going to discuss that. We're also going to discuss this amazing white paper that Pete co-authored with the folks at Stemregen. So you guys know I'm a big fan of Stemregen, right? And then we're going to also discover or talk about some other books that Pete and I are big fans of by the amazing author, Dr. William Pollack. I have the book here called Supercharge Your Health with PEMF Therapy. And I know another book that Pete and I both like is Power Tools for Health, which is one I've talked about at length before on this podcast. So welcome back, Pete.
Hi, Josh. Great to catch up. We do talk quite a bit online, but it's always great to see you. In person is always best, isn't it? But online is great. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I definitely like being in person with you because it almost always involves lots of laughs, lots of healing modalities, and lots of good food.
Yes, we have a lot
Yeah,
in common.
that's right. That's right. That's right. So, let's start off with the OH1 device, because
Mm.
this is something that I have really enjoyed. I've been using it literally every day when I'm home, because obviously I don't take it with me, right? But I have been a big fan of the Aqua True device that I have in my kitchen. And so when people come over, they almost always ask me like, "Oh, what are the best water devices? What are the best blah devices?" And chances are it's going to be here in my apartment so I can show them and talk about it. But
Yeah.
then lately, I've been using this other device. So I still have my Aqua True because it still creates good water.
Mm.
However, the OH1 device is different. Can you explain?
Yes, I'll do my best. So I'm also a big fan of the AquaTrue. When I actually, and I'll just briefly explain why I got into water when I launched PEMFit, because as you know, and I'm sure much of your audience know, if you're not hydrated, if you're trying to modulate anything with PEMF, which is our core business, our two core businesses are hydration and PEMF. And if you're dehydrated, and that's just not just water, that is clean water that is ideally with minerals um, in the right proportion and the right minerals, and also in a structured format, because we structure our water. So this is extremely hydrating. The body takes it in, and it doesn't have to work in order to hydrate the cell. And then we modulate that using whole body, high intensity PMF, which I also know you're a huge fan of. We use
Mhm.
pulse PEMF. Everything we do is with pulse PMF. I know you're a big fan of their technology and also own their equipment. So this is
More is
why.
coming.
Oh, excellent! Yeah,
Yes. In
it's
fact, so not to cut you off, but I'm wearing their latest they're dropping merchandise. So
this
this
is
is
the
one of
new
their
swag.
Yeah, so this is saying,
Beautiful.
defying limits, and, my buddy Nate has sort of spearheaded the merchandise, the swag part of all of this, which is really cool. So I got a unique opportunity to go to Atlanta or Cartersville, where the
Yeah,
facility is. I got a chance to see exactly how everything's made. I did a full campaign with their swag, and then I also got a chance to do another full podcast with Nate, which was great. And we talked about this very thing you just mentioned, which is the hydration and why that's
yeah,
important. And I talked about transference and grounding and blah blah blah. So I love where you're going. Please continue.
yeah. Thank you. I'm loving the new gear. I've got to catch up with the guys and get hold of some of that.
Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, this is the fundamental is hydration, and then modulate the hydration using PEMF. All of it is natural. We're just replicating nature. In these modern times, we're taking tap water. So in our studios, we call this PEMFit source. So I call it PEMFit source for two reasons. First of all, it is sourced from the building. We're not shipping this in from, the Italian Alps or the Swiss Alps. Um, we are taking tap water from the building. And what the OH1 does, and we also make a device called the OH2, which is an under-counter plumbed-in device. But the
Mm,
OH1 is the more popular of the two because it's relatively portable. As you say, you can't stick it in your bag and move it around, but a lot of people do like to put them in their car and take them on a weekend away, because
yeah.
once you've tasted real water, it's hard to go back. I mean, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to have tap water, and in the UK, we can drink the tap water. Is it optimal? I would argue not. You just can smell that. So, what we do with the OH1 and the OH2 is we put similar to the AquaTrue, which I had one of these. In fact, I've had several of them, and they're a great machine. They're essentially a reverse osmosis water purification device. So
Uh-huh.
with the Optimal Hydration, which is our sister brand, we have two brands, PEMFit and Optimal Hydration. And with our water purification brand and other product, we're taking tap water from a client's house or from one of our businesses, and it's from the source of the building, but it's also our special sauce, play on words, which optimizes the effect of the PMF within every cell in the body. So, what the OH1 does, which is our plug and play countertop or desktop device, it looks really nice as well. I mean, it's an attractive looking device. People don't mind it in their kitchen. It generates, it's got a 4-liter hopper, so you can fill it up. It generates water quite quickly. It's multi-temperature as well, so it goes from 99 degrees, 85 degrees, 55 degrees, or room temperature. So we have multiple temperatures, all push button. It goes a few stages further also because it doesn't just use all the filtration and then reverse osmosis technology, but it also has UV sterilization in the final stage because a lot of these. Oh, we've got some pictures. Yeah, there we go. It's a nice looking thing.
I wanted to put this up because I have to remember that there are people who are watching, and for the people who are not watching, you can either search this, which the website is optimalhydration.co.uk, or you can just come to this video and watch what I have put up here. And this is an example of what it looks like. There's a video here that shows what's happening. It's beautiful. And one thing I do want to touch on before you continue, please, is the fact that because this is a UK based device, there are some differences between sort of what I have and how I might be able to use it, because you touched on the four temperatures, which I think is amazing. And that is when we're dealing with the difference in the power from like the UK to the US, we don't get the same amount of heat that's generated from the hot water part of it, which I thought is really cool, but it still works well. It still works very well.
Yeah. It's good to mention that. So within the UK and many of the countries in Europe, and we've supplied them to South Africa and various other places, they work fine because we're working on a higher voltage. So the heating element works on these, whereas we shipped yourself and your Uncle Mike one, which don't generate the instant hot water. And this is great. I've just made some ginger tea just before we kicked off here, and it's straight out of the machine, instant, and it's all plug and play. So there's no plumbing involved or anything. So you can see there's one set to 85. I do my coffee in the morning with that. If it's tea, I'll do it at 99, and it's very convenient. Yes, Celsius.
Yeah.
So, and it's one cartridge as well. So rather than having multiple cartridges, it's just one cartridge. Everything is in there. And the final stage is UV sterilization. So the problem with a lot of water purification systems, whether these are plumbed in, sort of in-house, or whether these are a countertop system, is they can harbor bacteria if these things are not meticulously cleaned. So you can take everything out of the water, and then over time these things can become they can harbor bacteria, which you're then consuming. So we cover that with UV sterilization in the final stage. So these are 6-stage purification systems. There's another nice trick feature on the OH1 and the OH2, which is that we're adding molecular hydrogen. So we say 1.2 parts per million. It's slightly higher, but we like to downplay it slightly. So it's 1.2 parts per million, which is, if you're drinking this all day, every day, this is great. And Josh and the audience, you'll know that molecular hydrogen is a very useful molecule, but it's very elusive. So pretty much as soon as it's generated, you have to consume it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, amongst other things, it's a great selective antioxidant. It's great for energy. It's great for cognitive function. It's good for all things. I have it every day. It's probably my most wide used supplement. And so straight out of the machine, we're getting purified water, which has removed everything. In the UK and some other countries, we're getting multi-temperature, which is a really nice, convenient feature. It's UV sterilized as well as all of the other. It's one single cartridge, so it's very simple. You're not changing 3 or 4 different cartridges, as is typical with your water purification systems. And we've also got molecular hydrogen included, and this is all just at the touch of a button. So in essence, Josh, hopefully that answers your question. This is,
No,
in essence,
that's
what the machine does.
absolutely perfect. And here's what I've decided to do. I'm just going to show people because I did put this on my Instagram, and here's the reel. And this is sort of the part of it where I don't know if people can hear this, which is okay. Actually, here it is. Calls that I like to do. I always start my mornings and my days with hydrogen water. I have the water machine that is on the countertop, but then of course I have, and then there's Stemregen. So this is for those of you who don't really believe that like these are the things that I do when I bring people on to talk about it. Well, there it is right there. And if you come to my place, you see it. I probably should have done this before we started recording, but I also have your hydration drops, the E+ drops as well,
Yeah.
which you gave me, and I would have also put on the showed the tabs, but I got rid of those long ago.
Yeah.
The hydrogen tablets, like, yeah, you're holding up the E+, which is great. The hydrogen tablets are wonderful, and when I'm on the road, it's like the perfect thing to have in my bag, which I'm on the road quite a bit, but I keep that on me. You've got the flavored kind, you've got the regular kind, and it's just a very easy thing to just drop into your water because hopefully you're drinking water anyway. But what we've been talking about and what you just recently called out is there is a big difference between drinking water or drinking fluids, and actually optimally hydrating yourself, hence optimal hydration. And the fact that it's a perfect counterpart and supplement, pun intended, to PEMF, then obviously we should be talking about it. We should be thinking about it. We should be utilizing it. And you're doing that perfectly situated in this beautiful sisterhood, brotherhood of 2 companies. I love that. And so the reason why I started to think about it with more focus is because when I came to your facility, I saw the process at which everyone who goes there is on board with that. It's like we couldn't even have a conversation before we sit down, fill out some paperwork, and sip on some hydrogen water. It's cool. It's cool.
It is, and
yeah.
clients often say, "What is this? What am I drinking?" And we explain that this is our PEMFit source, that this is real water. So it's from the building, so it's very environmentally friendly. There's nothing worse than shipping glass bottles in from all over the world. That is great water, but equally when it arrives, it's lost its structure. So we use Lila Quantum Tech for that. It's another thing that we're into. So I never go anywhere without my travel block. I've got a gram block next to me because I'm sat at home in my apartment. But or even the little petite capsules, which I'm wearing one now. So we structure the water using. So that's activating it. This is turning it into a state rather similar to in nature. So when we're consuming water in nature, it's received everything. It's received natural PMS from the earth. It's been vortexed because it's been spinning around in rocks and in rivers and in streams. And it's also received UV light passing through it as well. And all of these things structure water and turn it into a very hydrating state that the body, that our cells don't need to work additionally in order to absorb into the cell. So it's instantly hydrating. And yeah, thank you for saying, I think it's a perfect combination, really. We hydrate and then we modulate or activate that hydration. And in the E+, so what we add to it are this E+, and this is 72 trace minerals. This is not just sodium, magnesium, potassium, which is great. And I take these hydration sticks when I need them. But what we have here is a natural, complete. This is essential minerals, and these are all during the pulse process, during high intensity PMF. We have an ion exchange. So we imagine this is the cell. The cell has a membrane, and oxygen and electrolytes pass through the cell membrane. This is known as an ion exchange. Also, the byproducts of this energy production process, known as Krebs cycle, comes out. So carbon dioxide, another waste product, let's call it cellular debris. So we're kind of hydrating the cell, improving the integrity of the cell membrane, the potential across the cell, but we're also supporting the mitochondria ability to generate ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So good things happen.
Yep.
So we take tap water, we purify it, we add molecular hydrogen, we add electrolytes, we structure, and then the client drinks the water. So fairly early on, clients were saying, hey, I want this at home. This is great. I want this for my family. I want this for my dog. I want this for my horse. So we started, this is where optimal hydration came as a separate but sister brand.
Perfect. And that's going to be a really good segue into talking about the white paper, but also this book, because when we talk about some of the things that we believe in, like even just reading a title in a book like this, Supercharge Your Health with PEMF Therapy, how pulsed electromagnetic field therapy can jumpstart your health, banish pain, improve sleep, and help prevent and relieve over 80 common health conditions. That usually means when you have the process down right, when you're well hydrated, when you know what frequencies and duration and what accessories and blah, blah, blah. So this is why we do what we do, because we know we can get to this optimal level or this optimized situation, but it needs to be done right. Before we start diving into the white paper and talking about books and stuff, I do want to mention two things quickly that may help someone in getting the OH1 device and getting started, because you and I had this very funny exchange, because whenever I got mine, you were gracious enough to send it to me, and I didn't find the directions on how to set it up. I threw it out. I did something wrong. I am certainly, willing to admit if I did something wrong. But there was a situation that was quite funny that I wish if someone was a fly on the wall, they would have been cracking up, because I got water everywhere. I got water everywhere because I put the wrong spout on the wrong thing and whatever. I will say it works great. And when I was showing the website earlier, I saw that it showed like first time setup. So it is there. Don't worry. But another thing that I think people need to understand is, in order to make sure that you're getting a fresh batch of hydrogen, I usually make sure to hit the H, the H with the circle around it, because I want to make sure that it's at least turned on, because it goes through this process of turning on and turning off, correct? Can you at least touch on that just a little bit?
Yeah, and thanks for the full disclosure. With any RO system, with any purification system, you have to run a certain amount of water through, just in order to prime the all of the different filters and the system itself. So this is what you're describing, and on our system there are two ports at the back, but we have the video explaining how to do this. And it just requires just positioning the unit next to a sink, exactly, just like that, so that you're flushing it through and out the back of the. Now, if we're not doing that, it will go everywhere, which I think is what happened with yourself. Sorry about that, Josh.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. But listen, it's okay, because it has a funny story, and it allowed me to talk about this. But also watching this video that I have that I'm sharing on the screen right now, I think gives people a kind of a very quick, like if they have that acronym TLDR, too long didn't read. That's what that means, TLDR. Yeah. This is the TLDR, everyone. So come to this video, check this out. You see it right here, and you know about how much time it's going to take to kind of get this set up for the first time, because you need to flush out the filter a few times, right? And then once you're ready, the machine kind of does the work for you. So all you have to do is just kind of wait till you see the E6. And when you see that appear, that's kind of when you need to refill the water. Pretty self-explanatory. And, and it says here, repeat that process 4 times, the first few times of flushing out the filter. And then basically all I do is I just every morning, every day throughout the day, I'm making sure to have my hydrogen water, and it's pretty easy. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's that.
So, and if people want more hydrogen, then, we have the tabs, as you said, these are great for travel. We have them in the blister pack, as you've said, because it keeps them fresh, and they're just very convenient just to pop in your bag, pop in some water. If you're flying, these are great for combating ionizing radiation. Great if you're having any scans, any hospital scans or anything like that, again, for combating ionizing radiation that you might experience in those sort of environments. So there are more and more clinical studies showing the efficacy of molecular hydrogen as a selective antioxidant, and how it can just help day to day, how it can help with various different organ systems and tissue within the body. And we source these from the world's. They have the global patent on them. These are the best of the best, and as you say, we do an unflavored and a flavored version. We use the Chinese natural raspberry, so there's no sweeteners in there. And we have the unsweetened one, which delivers slightly more ppm, parts per million, of molecular hydrogen. But I personally, it's the only sweet thing I have. I like the natural raspberry, and they have a nice little sweetness without any artificial sweeteners. So that kind of suits me.
I love it.
So yeah,
And also, I do want to point out before we carry on that this is, so you're based in the UK, and this obviously works best if you're in the UK. However, and that goes for all the products we're talking about, right? But I do have a code that Pete and his team has given me for you guys, for the listeners and the fans of this show and the followers. The code is Josh. It's very simple, JOSH. And if you ever have any concerns about how long does it take to ship, and can you ship it to a place, just make sure to hit up Pete and hit everyone up. Like, we'll give all the information at the end of the show, but use code Josh. Let them know that you heard this here on Simply Walk the Talk, and I promise you they'll take care of you. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and I will shut up about these wonderful products. All right, so you've talked about this white paper in which you worked with the folks at Stemregen, which most of the people who know me and know this show, they've sponsored several of these episodes. They're one of the products that I have put a lot of my name into. I have my own sort of landing site with them, and I've got a Josh Holland recovery protocol that's on the website. I obviously love Stemregen, right? But why don't you talk me through this? And I'm going to put this, I'm going to share this on the screen so people can see this white paper. But I thought, like, yeah, we should talk more about stuff like this. So here it is. Leveraging stem cell activity, the synergistic power of PEMFit's premium PEMF technology and Stemregen Release. Let's get into it. So there's Christian Drapeau. There's Pete Marroni, and here it is. So why don't you talk me through this? Because obviously, maybe, I mean, if it's okay, we could probably share this with the community. But
absolutely, yeah. It's on a downloadable PDF.
Okay.
So I'll just briefly talk you through it. It's quite a long white paper. We co-authored it, as you said, with the medical team, the clinical researchers at Stemregen. So initially, we're talking here about the efficacy of PEMF Cellular. So if someone's just interested in PEMF and thinking how can PEMF benefit me, then this would be a good white paper just to read by itself, because the first few pages are just talking about what is known about PEMF. We're a wellness business, so we're jeans and t-shirts, and we use studios. They're not clinics. We're not treating, diagnosing, curing, preventing any. We don't make any claims. But you can see here, there's, I think, 29 peer-reviewed studies in here.
Yep.
The vast majority of those do refer particularly to PEMF. There are over 2,000 peer-reviewed studies on the subject of PEMF. I've got a book here by this same author. I'm a huge fan. Dr. William Pollock. This is the Power Tools for Health that Josh, you were just talking about. In here, there's close to 600 peer-reviewed studies referred to just in this book on PEMF. So if anyone's interested in what PEMF may be able to support them with, then just by itself, this is a nice paper. It's written in layman's terms, so it's not overly complicated. It does go into some biochemistry about what's happening at the cellular level, what's happening in terms of, and we'll talk about stem cells now, and stem cell proliferation. So the body has its own inbuilt repair system called stem cells, and these are located in the predominantly in the marrow, mainly in the femur, in the long bone. And as we get older, and it's quite incredible after the age of about 15, how rapidly our body's production of our own endogenous stem cells drops off. It's quite incredible. By the age of 30 to 40, we're producing a fraction of what we were producing under the age of 15. It's quite shocking, and this is one of the reasons, together with low cell voltage, why we may graze our leg as a kid. You wake up in the morning and it's pretty much repaired. And as we age, this is natural. This is Mother Nature's plan. We're producing less ATP. We're producing less endogenous stem cells. PEMF, high intensity PEMF, I should say. When we apply high intensity PEMF to the pelvis and the femur, which contain this marrow, which changes from red marrow to yellow marrow as we get older, it releases significantly less of our body's own production of stem cells. However, when we apply high-intensity PEMF specifically to these regions, and the pulse PEMF technology is great because whether you sit in a chair, whether you sit on a bed, I saw that reel you showed the other day, even the whole body ones are strong enough to support massive endogenous production of your own stem cells. So first of all, we need to get them out into the bloodstream. We have them. You don't have to get them from somewhere else. You don't have to jump on a plane and go to South America. Your body has these, but getting them out into the body is difficult. So this equipment you've got here, this is an XL Pro. That's the Z-Grav bed, the chair, the power pad, the new bed with you've got the contour bed with the bolsters there. They're the power ring. It's a very focused device. The power paddles. So Josh is showing pictures now about how we can either apply this to the entire body or we can focus it in specifically working on the feet there. You're laying, you can fall asleep on this equipment. But the key thing when it comes to stem cell production or stimulating our body's ability to produce stem cells is well known. Stemregen know this, and this is why we've been in talks with them over a few months about the synergistic benefit of when you combine a high intensity PEMF of the quality of pulse PEMF together with their own nutraceutical. This is all plant-based, studied for 20 to 30 years by Christian Drapeau, who's found all of these different. He's a herbalist and a stem cell scientist, and over several decades, he has found numerous compounds and molecules which also support the body's production of your body's own endogenous stem cell. And then also the release of these, the transportation of these throughout the body, which again PEMF supports because it increases circulation. These are huge grounding machines, so it counters something called rouleau effect in medicine, which is sticky blood, viscous blood. As we get older, especially with westernized lifestyle, we get red and white blood cells. They look like coins all stacked together. PEMF, or grounding out in nature, almost immediately helps separate the red and white blood cells. With high intensity PEMF, you also get another benefit, which is increased endogenous nitric oxide production. So producing more NO, which is the body's natural vasodilator. So we've got this perfect synergy of blood, which is less viscous, together with blood vessels, predominantly the tiny, tiny microcirculation capillaries in the body, which we have well over 100 miles of within the body. So it's not just supporting veins and arteries, but mainly the microcirculation. So we're getting this combined effect of transporting these stem cells around the body. And then the final one is signaling where they need to go in the body. Hey, we have damage here, repair. And as we get older, for instance, if we have something on an extreme part of the body, let's say an ankle injury, we have a lot less circulation to that part of the body. And PEMF at this level, together with Stemregen, and we're using Release predominantly. Release 2 hours after you take 2 of those Release. I notice you have the sport ones there, which are for athletes, because the regular Release version has colostrum in, which is a wonderful thing to take. However, it can flag if you're a professional athlete, it can flag on a drugs test. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it will flag on a drugs test. So they do Stemregen Sport.
Which should tell people how effective it is.
It should.
Right? Just saying.
Good point. So both of those do the same thing, Stemregen Release and Stemregen Sport. But 2 hours after you've taken it, and there was actually one of the slides you showed, it might be worth showing it again, Josh, because we actually show a graph of how 2 hours after taking 2 Stemregen Release, your body will generate approximately an additional 10 million. So there's a nice graph and a chart. Here we go. So here's a daily dosage. If you're taking 2 Stemregen Release at 0, it peaks 2 to 3 hours later. You will have approximately, according to their scientific research, approximately 10 million additional stem cells in circulation. Now, you can take more. There's an advanced repair protocol there, taking morning, midday, and evening. So, of course, you're pulsing on, you're keeping those stem cells elevated over a prolonged period of time. And effectively what the white paper...
If you want to know if you want to know the Josh Holland protocol, it's even more than that. However, there's a reason for that. Yeah, because I did it, they worked with me to kind of talk about exactly how I use it. And this is a product that I literally buy, right? And I put my money into it. And whenever I had a few issues in which I needed to recover faster from, I doubled, tripled, and sometimes quadrupled the dose for a certain time period, knowing that I wanted to maximize the amount of stem cells released within my body, right? And I feel like this is a good time to touch on this, because I want to show something else. I want to show there was an ad that has been circulating around social media, and I want to just share this, because a lot of people, no matter what you say to them, it's never enough to show them the research to do whatever. So I'm going to play this and then I'll mute it. But here it is.
$20, $30. Okay,
can you hear that?
Changes everything. You inject 100 million stem cells, for which you'll pay, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000. Or you take 2 capsules, you will release 10 million of your own. Do this for twice a day, so 20 million in that day. Do this for a week. You have released 140 million of your own stem cells for maybe $20, $30. Okay, changes everything.
Okay, now what's interesting about that, could you hear that, Pete?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
So the caption here is clinically shown to boost stem cells, 80+% increase in circulating stem cells, no injections, just powerful plants, activates your body's innate repair system, backed by science, powered by nature. Stemregen isn't just a supplement, it's your body's daily signal to repair, renew, and regenerate. Now, you can see right from here, off the get-go, right? How true is this? Spelled incorrectly, but I liked it. Why? Because I know that there's going to be a certain amount of trolls out there, and it does nothing but help the algorithm, to be honest with you. So I almost always welcome it. And as you can see, there's a bunch of replies here, a bunch of people going in, and I'm like, well, it's very true for me personally, right? Okay, but how do you check? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just going back and forth, but it's helping the algorithm. So, okay, bring it on. Then there's people asking me about research. So I send them research. I send them white papers. And then how about you just show us some case studies, Josh? Well, that was the point where I'm like, look, if I can do my own research and send you the research that I did on my own, that I also paid my own money for, why can't you do it? So clearly they're trolling. So thank you, Tyson661. You've helped the algorithm, right? And then here's somebody here. I tried this product, took it for 4 months. Nothing changed in my health. Okay. 5 people like that. They think this is great. Helps the algorithm. Thank you. Right. So, look, here's another one. Maybe this is a nice try, Diddy. What? Like, what does this have to do with anything? Right. And then people were talking about like $20, $30. They're not understanding that this is a snippet from a conversation that Christian and I had at the biohacking conference, right? We were just casually talking about, this person here says you asked for $139. We were comparing that to what is out there that everyone thinks is amazing, which is injections that cost tens of thousands of dollars that have some amount of efficacy for sure, right? But are you going to do that several times throughout your life? I don't have an extra $10,000. And that's just bare minimum, right? Not talking about the flight to get there, the hotel to stay in, the amount of recovery, the invasiveness. Or maybe you can try a bottle and allow your body's innate ability to increase for about $140. And if you use my discount, you get a little bit more than that off. Anyway, soapbox done.
I love it. I couldn't agree more. And it's interesting, your experience was the same as mine. We met in Austin, I think, where that was recorded. And there was one company in particular that, we went with Pulse, as guest as Pulse. But there was one company in particular I wanted to speak with, wanted to talk to Christian, because I could see that this could potentially be a great synergy light with the hydration, and we then modulate that. And he gave me the answer, and we just recorded a webinar a couple of weeks ago, and he said there's no better combination than Stemregen. And if you're going to choose one modality, high intensity whole body PEMF is probably the top of the list, because of this synergistic effect of PEMF supports the body's endogenous stem cell production together with Stemregen. It's a perfect combination. But I did the same. I paid full price for the product. I went back to England with, I'm not going to say how much it was, but it was 4 figures, because I thought I wanted to give this a proper go. I bought all of the product. I tested it on myself for months. I noticed a difference. We met in London at the HOS last year, and this is when
Health
we spoke
Optimization
further.
Summit.
At Health Optimization Summit, exactly. And I wasn't the only one of our team that tried this and found additional benefit on top of. And we spoke about it. We spoke about the potential of producing a white paper, and there it is. So I put my own money into it. We don't do anything. I don't test. Similar to you, we believe in what we do. We try not to muddy the waters. But if you are taking, more is better, and there we are. This is showing if you're taking 3 doses of 2 per day, this is what's happening with your. This is before PEMF. This is just if you're taking 2 caps of Stemregen Release. So I think your audience should find it interesting. Here's a conclusion.
I think this is great because off the bat, I notice you've got an older male and a younger male, which should tell people that this is for anyone, right? Can be utilized for anyone because it's supporting your body's innate ability to heal. Now, I will say this, and maybe you can touch on this if you don't have any experience in it, feel free to say so. But there were a lot of people commenting, which is why I do keep I had the option to turn off the comments, by the way, right? Like I
Yeah.
fully have control to do that, but I'm leaving it there because I want to use it as a platform to help. But when I see the trolls, I do have to kind of make fun of that. But there are some genuine questions in there that do make sense, which is, well, what happens for a person that is older? Like, are you releasing the same amount of stem cells? And the answer is no, right? Or you're not, at least it's not the same quality, but it's better than what it would be without it.
Yeah, and it's much more important as we age to generate more ATP and to generate more stem cells. So even though it's relative based on age and also genetic predisposition and environmental factors, if you're moving more, if you're exercising more, if you have, slightly more ideal genealogy, all of these things, this whole epigenetic thing, you'll produce, but always on a relative level, more is better. And Stemregen know their stuff. They're not. They haven't been doing this for a short amount of time. Nor have Pulse PMF. They've been making the equipment, I think, 19 years now. It's the only equipment that we use. I do have various other devices that I use for travel purposes, but they don't do the same thing because they're lower intensity systems. So I think, your audience should hopefully find, if they're interested, there's an interesting white paper. It's written in layperson's language, but it's also backed by, some pretty strong peer-reviewed study with 29 references.
This is great. I think this has been way more than I even bargained for. Very informative, and seriously, for those of you who are curious, it's kind of cool because Pete is in the UK. I'm all over the world, but certainly here in the US. If you have any questions and concerns about investing or thinking about investing into a PMF system, get in touch with us. Right? I know both of us are very close with Pulse and have been for quite some time. And like I said, you're gonna start seeing my mug in like on the phone, I guess, in social media, doing some bigger projects with them, and there's more to come. Like I alluded to earlier, I got a chance to go to the facility, which, by the way, this is one of the few opportunities that I've gotten a chance to go to a facility to literally see how every piece from start to finish is made. Literally how it's packaged, how it's sent off, the Made in America sticker that's placed on it, right? Everything in-house. I got a chance to see every part of the assembly process. This is what I'm talking about. I get a chance to talk to the people, to see how they test it, to see what's being done. And this is the reason why I'm taking the partnership to another level, because I can do that. And there's only a handful of companies that I can say that about. Pulse is one, Stemregen is one, the One device is another one, right? So there's a few companies out there. I'm not saying that they're the only ones, but I put my name behind it. So that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean the equipment, the way it is built is meticulous. The components they use are the best in the world. The R&D they do is continuous. They're fanatical about it, and you've seen it at factory level. We supply the equipment, but what I would say to anyone in the UK or Europe, we have studios, so you don't have to buy the equipment even, because it is expensive kit, the Pulse PMF kit, and this is why we have a range of studios with carrying skilled colleagues who from London up through to Scotland. We have studios across the UK. Josh has been to our City of London studio. I'll be there on Thursday, Friday, where you can actually receive this energy. The body knows what to do with it, just like it does with most stem cells in circulation. It works in harmony with the body. It supports sleep. It supports recovery. Many of the pathways we know about scientifically. There are lots that we don't know about, but we know that they're beneficial because this is supporting the body's innate, as you said, repair systems. And also the nervous system as well. The nervous system loves it. It's not just the physical, the biomechanical, the biochemical. It's also the nervous system really responds well to high intensity PEMF. The brain stem, the vagus nerve. It has a visceral impact on all of these different regulating systems that the body has. A lot we know about, some we don't, but we know the body loves it. So if you're in any doubt, try it.
I love that. Pete, this has been super fun. I hope we talked about enough things that make it feel worth your while, because I mean, I know you're a busy man.
It's been a good catch up, Josh. It's been a really good catch up.
Yeah, and I'm thrilled. Thanks for sharing the white paper. Again, I will list to this so people can have it, and I'll link to the website optimalhydration.co.uk. I will also link to Pete's social media and things like that. He, like I mentioned before, he's very helpful, and the whole team is super capable of helping you. And then again, if you don't have an opportunity to be in Europe or in the UK, let me know, and I can most likely guide you to several places that are doing something similar. Obviously, PEMFit is probably at the higher end of how they do things, but we can get close in other places as well. So, Pete, anything else before we sign off?
Nothing else from me, Josh. Just a pleasure talking to you and sharing what we're up to these days. But again, the focus has always been, high intensity pulse in a nice environment. With good equipment, with trained staff and hydration, you put that together. And the other things all are just supportive of that. But it's great catching up and sharing what we're up to, and always a pleasure to speak to you.
All right. Until next time, stay hydrated, stay pulsed. Peace.
I like it. Thank you. Bye, Josh. Bye.
Walk the talk, talking facts. Move like me, but I move a little fast. Make my move, here to last. Fasten these seatbelts, I'm coming past. Take care of me, longevity. Hack my biology, better believe. Walking the talk, soul, mind, and body connected. Better come give us a listen. Better come give us a minute or two. Open the box up, we giving you tools. Giving your engine the fuel that it needs. Breathing into it, it's autoimmune. Make a connection, we're stronger in two. Making us one of a kind of a few. Work on the mind, but show me your moves. If you do what you say, you know what to do. Yeah.
Simply walk the talk.